Hey folks, welcome to Fyreflye's Follies. I hope that you enjoy the video today, and if you do, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you will and that you'll stick around for a little while. So today I am going to be making corn cob jelly. I have shucked and cut all of the corn off the cobs. I'm going to be canning corn later and probably freezing some. So these are the cobs that I have left. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cover them by about an inch, maybe 2 inches of water. And I'm going to put them on the back burner. I'm going to bring them up to a boil. I'm going to reduce the heat and let them simmer. And I'm going to simmer them for at least 3 hours. And once that's done, I'm going to strain them through muslin, like a jelly bag. And I'm going to strain all the solids out, and I'm going to use the liquids to make jelly. So I'm going to get these going, and once they have simmered for about 3.5 hours, I will bring you back. Okay, what I have is my colander sitting over a bowl, and I have lined it with a piece of wet, damp, unbleached muslin. And I took our corn cobs, and I boiled them for not quite 4 hours, a little over 3.5 hours. Put just enough water in them to cover them. So what I'm going to do now, and they're still pretty hot, I am going to put them in the colander, and I am going to let them drain overnight. I'm going to let them drain for a while here. I'm going to wash this pan, and I will transfer back over top of the pan, but I have to have some place to get it started while I wash my big stock pot. So I'm going to get them started draining. I'll transfer everything in once I've washed and dried the pan, and I'm going to let them drain in the fridge overnight. Okay, so this is the only big stock pot that I have. So I've transferred stuff over and I've cleaned it up really good. Make sure there's no silk, no corn pieces, no anything in it, because I want to end up with just liquid. So what I have here is a colander, just a regular colander that has been lined with unbleached muslin. And I have taken all of my corn cobs, and I've started with them, and you wet your muslin just like you do a jelly bag. This is what jelly bags are made from, so I just don't have it in bag form. And I am going to pour all of this liquid back over to strain it through the muslin. And I am going to leave this to drip in the refrigerator overnight. And then in the morning, I will drain the liquid, I will strain the liquid through one more muslin. As I'm going to leave this to drip, I'm going to let it cool. It'll probably sit here and cool for another hour or so. And I'm going to let it drip. And it will continue a slow drip overnight. And then tomorrow, once again, I'll take the liquid that's in here and I will strain it through a clean muslin. Again, this one's clean, but I'll do it a second time, just to make sure I have everything out and it's just the liquid. So, when it's time to do that, I will bring you back. Okay, I have let the corn cobs and the juice drip overnight in the fridge. So now what I have is just a pitcher with another colander and another piece of muslin, and this is just unbleached muslin. This is what I use to make my jelly bags and my beeswax wraps with. So I've dampened it and squeezed it out as tight as I can, and now I'm going to strain this one more time. Just to make sure there's nothing left in the bottom. And it actually looks like it was pretty clear. Alright, so we'll let that finish straining through. Alright, so I'm going to clean up. I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients together, and we'll be back to make corn cob jelly. Okay, so we made our corn cob juice, which sounds strange, but we made corn cob juice and we're going to turn it into jelly. So I've got about a quart of juice here, and we strained it through the muslin twice after it dripped for several hours. So it is clear. Let's get that in the pan. So I will leave the full recipe in the description box below. I've scaled back on my ingredients to match what I've got going on. So I am making sugar-free corn cob jelly. Now, I use erythritol, but you can use sucralose, you can use sugar, you can use whatever it is that you want. I use Pomona's pectin. Now, when you get Pomona's, it doesn't require any sugar at all to gel. It uses calcium in order to gel. So I buy mine in bulk, but even if you buy it in the single serve boxes, you get your pectin and then you get a little envelope that has calcium in it. And you take the calcium and you mix it in water, put it in a little jar, and this lasts forever. I've had this in my fridge for months and it still is working perfectly fine. So into my juice, I'm going to add lemon juice. I'm going to add my calcium water. And I know everyone gasps when I do this, but I like for mine to be beautiful and honey colored. So I'm going to add 6 or 8 drops of yellow food coloring. The yellow food coloring is entirely optional. You certainly do not have to. And then I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, and while this comes up to a boil, I'm going to take my pectin and I'm going to mix it into my erythritol. And I'm going to mix it really good because you want that pectin mixed in so that when you pour it into your boiling liquid, it disperses and you don't get little clumps. Now, you can add the pectin to any dry sweetener to disperse it. If you're going to use honey or molasses or no sugar at all, if you're just going to use water, then you would need to put the pectin in your liquid sweetener or your water and blend it until it's smooth before you add it to your boiling juices. Alright, that looks pretty well mixed. Alright, so we're just going to bring this up to a boil, and once it comes up to a full rolling boil, I will bring you back. Alright, we are up to a boil, so working quickly, I'm going to stir in my sweetener and my pectin. And you do want to work quickly because it will start to thicken as soon as it hits the pan. And you want to make sure that it gets dispersed evenly, otherwise you'll have clumps. So now I'm going to keep a close eye on it. I'm going to bring it back up to a boil, which will only take a minute. And once it's up to a boil, I'm going to let it boil for 1 minute, and then I'm going to check the thickness on it. And I may let it boil for a second minute if necessary. The thing you need to keep in mind, corn has a lot of sugar in it. We just added a lot of sweetener. So you want to keep it moving so that the bottom doesn't scorch. Timer's just about to go off. There we go. So I've turned off the heat. Set it off for just a second to let that bubble down so I can start getting some jars out. Now, there's a little bit of foam on the top of mine, and you can skim this off if it bothers you. It doesn't actually bother me, but I might skim it off. I'm giving these for gift, so I might skim that off. Let me get some jars out, and we'll see how bad the foam is once it's done bubbling. I'm going to be optimistic on the jars and take out 7. Grab a bowl to skim foam into. The foam does not hurt, it's just unattractive in the jars, some people think. The foam has the exact same flavor and consistency as the jelly. And this will go on my toast tomorrow morning. So I'm going to set that to the side. Grab a funnel and a ladle, and let's get started filling jars. And I know I've got it sitting where you guys probably can't see it at all, but it's easier for me to work from this direction. So we are filling to about a 1/2 inch headspace. One of my vegan friends actually taught me about this. It's a really good substitute for honey. And I was a little skeptical, but she was right. It really does taste like honey. It's definitely as sticky as honey. Alright. So now, this is, one, it's very hot. This is molten lava, so you want to be very careful. And two, this is very, very, very sticky. So, I'm using white vinegar and a paper towel that I've torn up into little pieces because it's just easier for me to handle and switch them out quickly. So, small piece of paper towel, some vinegar. I'm just going to dampen the paper towel with vinegar, and I'm going to go around the rims of the jars. And this is to clean them. Primarily, this is to clean them. It serves two purposes. Now, one, it cleans anything that you might have gotten on them off, because this is, again, very sticky. And two, when I'm prepping my jars, I check the rims for nicks or cracks or anything that feels off at all that might interfere with me getting a good seal. I've spent the time making the food, I want to make sure that it seals. So let's get another one. That one had a drop on the side of it, so I'm going to hit it one more time. And you are just going around the very top. You don't have to worry about the threads. You don't want to get anything inside. That one's got a sticky spot too. And you can feel the sticky spots. They have a little drag to them. All right. Lid on, ring on fingertip tight, back into the canner. So I'm going to put these back into the canner. I'm going to bring it back up to a full rolling boil, which will only take a couple of minutes. It's simmering now. It's been simmering. Bring it back up to a full rolling boil, and I'm going to process these at a full boil for 15 minutes. And when the 15 minutes is up, I'm going to shut it off, and I'm going to set the lid ajar on it, just kind of off center. And I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes before I take them out. So when it's time to take them out, I will bring you back and we'll take a look and see what we've created. Alright, so I brought my water bath canner up to a full rolling boil, and I let them process for 15 minutes, and then I shut the heat off, and I set the lid kind of off askew just a little bit. And I've let them sit for about 5 minutes, so let's get them out and see what we have. Oh goodness, y'all, that is so pretty. The color is just beautiful. And I know I mentioned that I have a vegan friend who is the one who told me about this. It really and truly, oh, that one just sealed. It really and truly does taste like honey. And it's a great option for making sure that you get every last bit of use out of your foods. So, let me see if I can get one of these up here so you can see. It really is just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it is just beautiful. Oh, and it's sealed. So what I'm going to do, let me get this lid out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to move them to the dining room because that's where I do all of my jar cooling at. I'm going to move these over to the dining room, and I just take them out on a tray when I do a small batch. I'm going to let them sit till sometime tomorrow, about 24 hours. They'll cool down, they'll seal. The ones that haven't sealed, most of them have. They'll cool. Tomorrow I'll come back. I'll take the rings off and check the seals. I'll wash my jars and I'll label them. And a couple of them I'm keeping for myself, so I'll put them away. They're good for 3 or 4 years. The oldest one that I have ever opened was about 3 years old, I think. And I try to keep a record of how long something lasts me when it's something that I really like and use a lot. So I will label them and put them in my pantry. Now, the ones that I made for a friend, I'm going to put really pretty labels on them before I give them to them. So I really hope that you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and I'd appreciate it if you'd leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. That helps to get my channel out there in the YouTube world. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you will and that you'll stick around for a while. If you hit the notification bell, they'll let you know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.